So while we're working on that, let's work on our next step in penetrating into the deep dark. And that, I believe, is going to be to build the squeezer. Yeah, I've never trained the machine how to make a piston. Oh, it's time to expand the bitch. Can make one more interface and just plonk it down. That gives me a few more spaces to put things. There's creepers outside. Oh, fuck. That's why blast is not good to do in woody areas. So we need a pissed off. We need 4 more scaffoldings. We need 2 light engineers, which we have. We need a redstone engineering block, which we have. 2 more steel fences. We need fluid pipe, which we need iron plates for. And we need wooden barrels. Not these. These. And we're going to need some more treated wood. Thankfully, we've got some creosote lying around. Should give us enough to make 4. No, it doesn't. Okay, that should be everything we need. And I guess we'll put it over next to the crusher. How do I want to orient it? So I think this is the front. We want the redstone engineering block to be in the front. I think that's how I want to set it up. That's this engineering block. That's this engineering block. And, yeah, I got this backwards. I got this backwards from how I wanted it to go. God damn it. Barrels go here. Piston, which is facing the wrong direction. Does this rotate things? I don't think it does. We need a crescent hammer. Oh dear, we're out of iron. We're almost out of iron. The crescent hammer, apart from being a thermal expansion wrench, can also spin blocks around. I think I need to smack this barrel. No. Do I smack the piston? No. Do I smack this? What do I smack? Oh. So next question is, which one uses power? I think it's you. So now what we need to do, we need to squeeze this coke dust. And that is sucking a lot of power. Okay. Pop graphite dust. Next, we smelt it. Now ultimately what we need to do build the arc furnace. The arc furnace requires a bunch of shit. Lots and lots of steels, for one. We also need 27 reinforced blast bricks, which also need steel. And to make them, we need nether bricks, magma blocks, and, well, blaze and slime. I suppose we'd better go to the nether and mine some of that. Guess we're going to use our flinger spell. And just fling myself into the ceiling. That's genius. Suppose I ought to have my teleporter ready, just in case. And we got gases too now. Oh dear. Bye-bye. You know, it didn't occur to me to check the ME system to see if I've already picked up some of this. That would have been the smart thing to do. I'd have done it if I was smart. Here's some. If I can dig it up without throwing it all in lava. We didn't throw most of it in lava. I think that's all I need. We need 9. We need 27 of these, which means we need 9 sets of this, which is 9 of that. Math! As it turns out, we had some, but not enough. Well, we need a bunch of steel. 29 is not going to cut it, so, we need iron. Which we have 25 of, and that's not going to cut it. Yeah. So, I guess we're mining. Well, if we're going to do this, let's learn a glyph. Now that we've found a Wilden spike, we can learn Pierce. U plus U. Chomp. Equals U. Now, let's see if we can use Pierce with Projectile Digger. Projectile, Pierce, Break, AoE. This sounds dangerous. So if we do this, we have a magical hammer. Smack. We have a slow magical hammer. That is not as practical as I had hoped. Suppose... First of all, suppose we put another AoE on Dig. That's slightly more useful. Let's see how much mana this uses. That is still not super practical. The amount of digging it does for the amount of mana it uses is impractical. Oh well. I guess we just dig the old-fashioned way. That's potentially useful. Being able to dig through the deep slate. Well, let's jump back and start processing this iron. Let's take a bit of inventory. Let's take a look at the bill of materials for the arc furnace. Well, steel sheet metal is basically one steel ingot equals one piece of sheet metal. We need 6 blocks of fucking steel. We need... Well, sheet metal slab is half a steel, basically. We need 17 steel for the blast bricks. And the rest of it's not too bad, but we're still going to need a bunch of irons. And we're probably going to need a new hammer, too. And smack. And smack goes the hammer. And smack. We take these plates, and we go like this. 4 plates equals 4 sheet metals. But we also need 14 of them to be slabs. Which means we need to make even more of these. Which means we need to make even more of these. Now we have our 14 slabs, and I think we should be able to put these back together into full sheet metals. I wonder, can we melt this down to get the steel out of it? Yes. Yes, we can. I think I may do that, since we are kind of hurting for steel. And we're probably going to have enough lava for this. Ball sacks! We need heavy engineering blocks, which we haven't programmed yet. Which needs even more sheet metal, so I probably shouldn't have melted that down. Well, that was kind of a pointless move. That was a pointless maneuver. What do we need to make 5 of these? 40 steels. Short answer. Planted some oak trees out here. If I can remember where I put them. I put them in the Botania Garden. That was not well designed. Well, we need to smelt up a shitload of charcoal. And we're waiting for our iron. We can UU matter up iron. That might be useful. While that's running, let's get a start on our botanical magics. So, let's clear out this garden. Now, one thing we'll need is a water source. Yoink. Dig, 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 dig. Plonk. Slosh, splash, slosh, splash. And let's get ourselves a crafting table. And a plonk. First thing we need to do is we need to make a thing called a petal apothecary. This basically is a thing that makes magical flowers, which is kind of the key to Botania. Now, the petal apothecary is made with rocks and slabs and either a mystical petal or a shimmering mushroom. Petals you get by picking apart these mystical flowers, and shimmering mushrooms are things you just sort of find underground that can usually be used in place of petals. Now, the way you make flowers is you fill up a bucket of water and you put the water into the apothecary. And you can do it by either right-clicking it, which is less than ideal because if you miss, you'll do that. You can also just throw the bucket at it, which is what I usually prefer to do. And then you put the ingredients in, and you throw some seeds in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a pure daisy. For that, we need 4 white petals, which I will simply fling in there, and fling the seed in, and hopefully we have a pure daisy. plunk. For reasons which will be apparent momentarily, I'm going to create another one. Now, what the pure daisy does is, if you plunk logs around it, it will slowly convert them into something else. And if you plunk stone around it, which includes smelted stone as well as diorite and andesite and granite and probably a few others as well, that also turns those into something else. And just to be a smartass, I'm going to stick a log here, which does absolutely nothing. I'm going to stick a diorite here, which does absolutely nothing, but will be useful in a few moments. What I'm going to do, I'm going to target spruce wood with the exchanger, and I'm just going to exchanger this stuff into logs. So what I just did is, I exchanged out the living wood, which is what the pure daisy created, with spruce, so it could create some more. I'm going to do the same with this living rock. I'm going to replace that with andesite. Diorite. Yes, diorite. Bird poop. So now we have a thing called living rock and living wood. First of all, what you do is, you put the living wood together like this, you get living wood twigs. You take 3 of those, and you take a couple of petals of any color, put the sticks like this, put the petals like this, and you have a thing called the Wand of the Forest, which is basically Botania's wrench. Now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take this living rock, we're going to go like this. We're going to create a mana pool. Mana is a thing you can generate to do useful things with Botania. In order to generate mana, we first need some generating flowers, and we also need a thing called a mana spreader, which will transmit mana from the flowers to the pool. We need gold, and we need petals, along with some living wood that I just made. In fact, we're going to make 2 mana spreaders. I'm going to put one on either side of the pool. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take our wand. As you can see by the tooltip is in bind mode. I'm going to shift right click on this spreader, and then shift right click on the pool. And you can see it has pointed the spreader at the pool. And furthermore, if you hover over the spreader, it will highlight the pool to show you that's the one it's bound to. Do the same with this one. Now these spreaders are both pointing at the pool. Now we need some generating flowers. The simplest ones are called endoflames, and they're made with brown, red, and light gray petals. As you can see, we don't have that many of those. So what we can do, you can actually propagate these mystical flowers. Let's take these brown flowers, let's pick all the petals off them. That gave us 8. What you can do is, you can plant them in the ground. You can see from the little sparkles, they're now planted. What you can do with that is, you can bone meal them. And that gives you tall versions of the flowers. And if you shear them, you can pick them apart, and you get twice as many petals. So, you can get 2 petals out of a regular flower, plant and bone meal both of them, and you get 8 total out of that one flower. So I want to make 16 endoflames. Seems a decent amount. So, throw the water in. Brown, red, light gray. Toss seed in. We have an endoflame. Now, one thing you can do, little shortcut, right-click with an empty hand to add the last recipe. So, just right-click with an empty hand, and it adds more of the same petals. So, toss, toss, zap, slosh. What do we have that we can use for seeds? Melons. Melons will work. Let's turn all of you. Oh. I have to smack you. Need 10 more seeds, so... Alright, we have 16 endoflames. Now we're going to just start putting these down. And I'll just sort of make it symmetrical. Now, if we hover over them, you'll see that these endoflames are bound to this spreader, and these endoflames are bound to this spreader. They automatically linked to the nearest one when you put them down. Now, the reason I'm using two spreaders is that one is not quite enough to transmit 16 flowers worth of mana. So I just use two. Now, the way endoflames work is you throw something burnable on the ground, like coal blocks, and give it a moment, and it will suck them up and start burning them. And as you can see, we're starting to generate some mana. Off we go. Whoa.